England in the year 900 was not a kingdom of glory. It was a land still remembering Rome. 4 centuries earlier, Roman legions had marched across these hills. They built roads of stone, walls that scraped the sky, bathhouses warmed by hidden fires beneath the floor. Now, those roads were cracked, those walls broken, those cities hollow. The empire had gone, but the cold remained. Villages stood where cities once ruled. Wood replaced marble, smoke replaced order, and survival was not guaranteed. In 900 AD, life expectancy was brutally short. War, hunger, and disease moved like seasons. You did not plan for comfort. You planned to endure. Most people never traveled more than a few miles from where they were born. The world was not large. It was dangerous. Beyond the fields lay forests thick and ancient. Wolves moved silently between trees. Bandits hid along Roman roads now claimed by moss and shadow. And to the east, the sea brought something worse. The Vikings. Long ships cut through mist like blades. They did not come as merchants. They came as fire. Entire villages could disappear in a single morning. To survive in England's dark ages was not heroic. It was exhausting. You woke before sunrise, you worked until your hands bled, and you prayed the next winter would not be your last. Because in 900 AD, survival was not a choice, it was the only occupation.
In 900 AD, danger did not always come from hunger. Sometimes it came from the horizon. England was not a united kingdom. It was divided, fractured into small realms: Wessex, Mercia, Northumbria, East Anglia. And beyond the sea, there were ships. Long, narrow ships with carved dragon heads, sails like pale wings against gray skies. The Vikings did not announce their arrival. They appeared at dawn, in fog, with axes. Coastal villages had little warning. A monastery bell might ring once, but by then it was too late. Monasteries were targets. They held silver, books, sacred objects, and monks did not fight. Chronicles describe doors broken, altars smashed, manuscripts burned. But raids were not constant chaos. They were calculated. The Vikings wanted wealth, land, power, and sometimes they stayed. By 900 AD, much of England's north and east was under Viking control, the Danelaw. Survival meant adapting. Some English farmers paid tribute, some learned Norse words, some intermarried. But peace was fragile. Even without Vikings, violence was part of daily life. There was no national police force, no central justice system. Law was local and often brutal. If someone stole from you, you pursued justice yourself. Compensation was called weregild, a price placed on a human life. Every person had a value. A nobleman was worth more, a peasant less. If someone killed your brother, they could pay, and the matter was considered settled. But not always. Blood feuds could last generations. Villages were small. Everyone knew everyone. Trust was survival, but betrayal was fatal. Even kings were not safe. Alfred the Great had fought to hold Wessex together. His successors inherited a fragile peace. Fortified towns called burhs were built, walls of earth and timber, last refuges when raids came. Inside those walls, people waited, listening, watching the river, watching the road. Survival in 900 AD required more than strength. It required loyalty, quick decisions, and sometimes surrender. Because in a world without certainty, your greatest threat was another human being.
In 900 AD, survival was not only physical, it was spiritual. The world felt unstable. Harvests failed. Children died young. Storms destroyed crops. Raids came without warning. And people asked only one question: why? There were no scientists, no weather forecasts, no germ theory. There was only God. If lightning struck a tree, it was a message. If plague entered a village, it was punishment. If famine came, it was a test. The church was not just a place of prayer, it was the center of understanding. Priests interpreted disaster. Monks copied sacred texts by candlelight. Church bells marked the rhythm of life. Baptism, marriage, burial. Life began and ended under the cross. Inside stone churches, candles flickered against damp walls. Incense mixed with the smell of wet wool. Outside, the world was harsh. Inside, there was order. Heaven and hell were not metaphors, they were destinations. Hell was vivid in the imagination. Fire, demons, eternal torment. Sermons described it in detail. Because fear kept society stable. Confession mattered. Obedience mattered. Honor mattered. A broken oath was not just betrayal of man, it was betrayal of God. Illness was spiritual as much as physical. If someone grew sick, villagers prayed. They touched relics of saints. They believed holy objects could heal. Sometimes the sick recovered. Sometimes they did not. Life expectancy was short. Many did not live past 40. Childhood was fragile. Families buried infants regularly. Grief was common, but so was resilience. People did not collapse under despair. They endured. They found meaning in suffering. And slowly, England began to change. Kings worked to unify territories. Burhs became towns. Trade increased. The Viking threat began to settle into coexistence. The Dark Ages were not endless darkness. They were transformation. Hardship shaped discipline. Fear shaped faith. Faith shaped identity. Survival in 900 AD was not heroic in the modern sense. It was quiet. It was daily. It was waking up again after loss. It was planting seeds not knowing if you would see harvest. It was trusting God when the world felt cruel. And from that endurance, medieval England was born. When we think of the Dark Ages, we imagine darkness. But darkness is not emptiness. It is survival without comfort, faith without certainty, strength without recognition. The people of 900 AD did not know they were building history. They only knew they had to endure one more winter, plant one more field, protect one more home. From their struggle, England emerged, not through glory, but through persistence, and perhaps that is the truest form of survival.